Okay, so we are now broadcasting, so it is recording. We haven't had anyone join us yet, so I'm going to give it until the start time before I start going over this. Okay, so welcome to the Virtual College Exploration series. I want to go over a few housekeeping items before I turn it over to DePauw University to share more about their institution. We do have a number of other series going on throughout the remainder of the month to give you opportunity to learn about other colleges. So please check out that schedule and those sessions at inacac.org/virtual college exploration. During this presentation, you can ask questions by using the Q&A button to type in your questions to the presenters at any time, and they will attempt to answer all of your questions during their presentation. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so the presenters cannot see, or the panelists cannot see or hear you. The recording will also be available for you to go back and review again at our website if you would like to check out other sessions there as well. So now I will let DePauw get started and enjoy your time.
Hi, everybody. This is Julia Michaels, and I am an admissions counselor at DePauw University. We're really excited to be with you today to not only give you some information about our institution, but we have two wonderful current students from DePauw that are here to answer any and all of your questions. So like we said before, please feel free to send those in during any time during our presentation or the panel, and we'll make sure to answer those for you. I'm going to now share my screen so that we can go through a brief presentation just so you get to know a little bit more about DePauw University and who we are. So when it comes to DePauw University, we should probably talk about, what is DePauw, who are DePauw students, and DePauw University is a small private liberal arts institution located in Greencastle, Indiana. We are just shy of 2,000 students, meaning that we have an average class size of 17 and an 8-to-1 student faculty ratio, where you will really get to experience discussion-based courses that are focused on that individualized path. So every student is taking courses not only in their intended major, but they're also taking things in science and math and arts and humanities and social sciences so that they come out of DePauw as a well-rounded individual. If you're also interested in maybe pursuing music at the collegiate level, we have a School of Music available at DePauw University. About 120 students are actually in our School of Music, which is really exciting. So if you're interested in that, I'd be more than happy to share with you, that application process and audition process as well. DePauw students come from 39 different countries and 39 different states, and we roughly have about 19% legacy students, meaning that there's some great traditions here at DePauw. Families are, they want to continue to send their younger generations to DePauw University, but we also are 20% first generation college students, meaning that DePauw is committed to having diversity, inclusion, and equity on our campus, and that we really try to promote, access to higher education, especially for those who have maybe not had access to it before. Lastly, I always like to talk about our student athletes on campus. More than 30% of DePauw students are actually involved in one of our 23 Division III varsity teams. We have 12 women's teams and 11 men's teams. If you're someone like me who, was not super athletic in college, but still likes to have fun, we also offer club and intramurals. But if you're interested in pursuing, athletics at a collegiate level, let us know and I'll make sure to put you in contact with one of our coaches. Moving forward in our presentation, I want to talk about academics. What is the liberal arts and, what could you possibly explore while you're at DePauw? Well, we offer 49 different majors and 56 different minors. I've listed the top 10 for you guys. So this is just kind of not an exhaustive list, but some of the different, possibilities that you could explore at DePauw. Some of our most popular majors are going to be economics and communications. For a liberal arts institution, we have a very strong STEM program. So you'll see biology, kinesiology, and psychology listed on there as well. We also have some of your more traditional humanities and social sciences like political science and English writing. If you do not see something listed on the screen, don't worry, you can create your own major at DePauw. So if you're interested in something like journalism, or maybe you're interested in arts administration, anything like that, we can make that happen at DePauw. Through the liberal arts, we are trying to promote interdisciplinary departments and programs. So don't be discouraged if you don't see what you're looking for. We can always try to find a way through our small knit and tight knit community, to understand what you're trying to, pursue down the line. Additionally, I mentioned that School of Music earlier. We offer 4 music degree programs. I've listed them as well on this slide. So again, if you're interested in pursuing music at a collegiate level, you can definitely do that at DePauw. Something to note about our academics at DePauw is that you do not have to declare a major till your second semester of your sophomore year. So don't worry if you're unsure about what you want to study or what you want your future career path to be. You do not have to come in and apply to the College of Engineering or the College of Business. You apply simply to DePauw University, and then we allow you to explore, your first and second year on campus. Additionally, we offer 4 programs of distinction at DePauw. So if you're interested in, having higher and rigorous academics, we can also talk about those as well. Really though, what the liberal arts aim is to take what you're learning in the classroom and take your academics and education and make that throughout your college experience. So having a robust co-curricular experience at DePauw is crucial to what sets us apart from other institutions. And where you really get to see that is through our experiential learning programs. So at DePauw, students can take their academic, their professional, or just their personal interests and apply those to things such as study abroad, research opportunities, or maybe an internship. I always love to start talking about our academic calendar. So how we are able to have so much experiential learning at DePauw is through our winter and May terms. So we have 2 traditional semesters at DePauw, but we also offer 1-month terms in the month of January and in the month of May, respectively. Really what those 1-month terms allow students to do is to pursue different outlets and passions that they might not have time for in the semester, or to really hone in on their expertise. So students might take 1 course for the month of January. They might go on a study abroad trip for 2 weeks. Maybe they'll have a really quick internship and that will lead to a future summer internship or a future position. Or maybe they'll continue to do their faculty student-led research on campus. All of those options are available to DePauw students regardless of your major. Some things I love to highlight about our experiential learning is that 30% of students will have some sort of faculty student research experience under their belt by the time they graduate. I know both photos are STEM, but we also offer, internships and research on campus that are in the humanities and arts as well. Study abroad is something that is really popular at DePauw. We're actually ranked number 4th in the nation for the number of participants that we have in our study abroad programs, and we're ranked number 7th in the nation for making it affordable. So if you've ever envisioned yourself studying abroad in places like England, Italy, South Africa, Japan, Peru, Australia, you can have that experience as a DePauw student. And finally, internship opportunities. It's crucial that all of our students have some sort of work experience under their belt before they, graduate into the real world. So really through connecting with our alumni, we try to promote as much, internship opportunities for students as possible. I'm also going to talk about campus life in just a little bit, but I also want to leave it to our panelists. Our current students know better than anyone else what our campus life is like. So for any of you seniors tuning into our session, I really quickly want to talk about our application process. The Common Application and the DePauw application are both now live on our website. So wherever you're at in your college search process, when it comes time to applying, I want to be able to give you the tools to begin. So we are, a test optional institution, meaning that you do not need to submit an ACT or SAT test score to be eligible for admission or to be eligible for any of our merit scholarships. We run on a holistic review approach, meaning that there's not going to be one thing that can admit you or deny you from our institution. So we understand that your ACT or SAT might not be the best way to measure your academic potential or capabilities. We're going to be, looking at everything on your application. We're going to be looking at your transcript and your GPA. We want to see what type of courses you've taken. Are you challenging yourself throughout your 4 years of high school? Are you taking honors in an AP if they're offered? And how successful have you been in those courses? We're also going to take a look at your senior year. How are you doing thus far? We understand that this might be a stressful time for students and that you might be fully remote or you might be in a hybrid model, but we want to check in and see how you're doing as a senior in high school. We're going to look at your activities. So I always like to call activities anything you spend meaningful time doing. So yes, this could be a sport, this could be National Honor Society or being in drama club or Spanish club. That could also be having an after-school job or looking after your younger siblings. Those are all things that you're spending meaningful time doing, and you should include those under activities. We love to see whatever you're involved in. We're going to be looking for at least one letter of recommendation. I say the sweet spot is between 2 to 3. I've had students send like 11 letters of recommendation. Trust me, I will read them all, I pinky promise, but I always say 2 to 3 can give us a really good judge of your character. And then finally, affinity. That's just a fancy word for demonstrated interest. So by attending our Strive Scan event today, asking wonderful questions to our current students, this is a way, to show that you have some interest in DePauw, and that can go a long way. The last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll hear from our wonderful students, is, okay, now you're all excited to apply to DePauw, but when do we need to do this by? Here are some deadlines for you. So coming up is going to be our November 15th deadline for early decision. That is a binding agreement. So if you do apply early decision to any institution, that means that if you are admitted that you will attend, DePauw, for example. We understand that that might not be the best decision for all students. We definitely welcome early decision, but if you're still kind of perusing, if you maybe are unsure when it comes to that final decision, I recommend to my students applying early action. That is a December 1st deadline, and we would love to be able to get a decision to you as soon as possible. We also understand college applications can take a little while, so we'll do a second round of early decision in January, and then our regular decision deadline is February 1st. Finally, one important thing to talk about, and then I'll turn it over to our wonderful students, is financial aid. There's a couple ways to finance your DePauw education. The first being our merit scholarships. So upon applying to DePauw, you will be automatically reviewed for a merit-based scholarship solely based on things like your GPA, your transcript, and if you submit your test scores. Again, if you are a test optional student, you're still eligible for our highest merit scholarships, so don't worry about that. No need to panic. And about 80% of our students receive some form of funding through that. We also accept outside organizational scholarships, and we have some more scholarships on our website. I encourage you to check those out and see if you're eligible for any of those. And then finally, we'll take a look if you submit your FAFSA or tax documents. 60% of students receive some form of grants, loans, or campus employment. So those are kind of the exhaustive ways to finance a DePauw education. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, just so that we can turn it over to our wonderful panelist. Give me 2 seconds to figure out. There we go. So Ben, would you like to introduce our 2 students for us?
I would love to. Hello, everybody. Don't let the bottom of your screen deceive you. There are not 4 Ben Hatchets on the call. I am Ben Hatchett, one of our assistant directors here, and we're so excited that you're checking out DePauw today. We have put together an all-star cast of past and current DePauw students. Julie and I are both former DePauw students, and we've got 2 friends. I'm going to let them themselves introduce themselves. So, Mikhail, would you like to take it away?
Of course, of course. So, you guys can hear me? Good, that's amazing. Zoom and everything is complicated. But my name is Mikhail Polanco. I'm actually a current sophomore here at DePauw University from New York City, New York. My major, I actually declared it last semester, so my major is global health, which is in the top 10 list. And my minor is intended to be communications and chemistry, with the career path of being an epidemiologist.
Awesome. Thank you. And Liz, take it away.
Yes. Hi, guys. So my name is Liz Bush, and I'm a current senior at DePauw University. I'm from Brookfield, Wisconsin, which is a suburb of Milwaukee, and I'm majoring in communications.
Awesome. We have a few questions we have ready for our lovely guests, but for those of you in the room, acquaint yourselves with that chat feature and drop anything in, and we'll field those out to our students today. But to get started, could each of you kind of walk through maybe your aha moment of why you chose DePauw, what your college search was like? It wasn't too long ago, so it's still fresh. Talk about what your college journey was like and why you ultimately chose to be a DePauw Tiger.
I guess I could start. So, in terms of my aha moment, so one of my things growing up is I've always wanted to just leave and go abroad, and just do what I do, just travel around the world and experience different things. And the aha moment for me while applying to the Common App was actually that DePaul was ranked top 5 in students going abroad. They have an amazing abroad program. So things like the May term, spring term, or semester term of studying abroad really was my aha moment. That was like the hook for me. So that was my aha moment when it comes to DePaul. For example, like I'm actually supposed to be going to Paris, or I was supposed to go to Paris this December, but because of COVID, sadly. But that was my aha moment.
Thank you for sharing. That's really cool. And Julia shared a little bit. Yeah, now we're 4th in the country in the full semester study abroad. Of course, this year looks really different, so we can't wait to get back to the things we do really well. I didn't get to do study abroad, but I did go to Greece. So, Mikhail, hopefully we can get you out to Paris. That'd be awesome. Liz, what about you?
Yeah. So my aha moment, both my parents had gone to DePauw, so I had heard of it very early on. And growing up, DePauw was just like a name that would be like thrown around our household all the time. And I would hear of all my parents' stories and their memories and hear about their friends from DePauw and meet their friends. So DePauw was always a name that I knew of, but it wasn't necessarily a school that I was always like, oh, I want to go to DePauw. But that was until I started my college search process. And I think I didn't really know exactly where I wanted to go. I would just kind of tour around. I applied to multiple schools, but it was through the search process that I really realized that I kind of tied together like hearing from my parents and then seeing DePauw for myself. And what I really noticed is just how close of a community it is across all like ages and graduation years of alumni. So, seeing how my parents connected with the current like student who was giving us a tour was really cool. And I think then just seeing how personalized though it was still to me and like for my own needs and experiences. And I will say like a big part of DePauw too is similar to what you guys have mentioned, this whole study abroad program and how easy and how many opportunities DePauw offers for us to explore the world. Like I always tell people that, we're going to school in Greencastle, Indiana, but I truly feel like the world is my oyster and I can quite literally go out and like really go and explore any like corner of the world. And I'm sure we'll talk about this later on, but like I went to Copenhagen this past semester and then I was in Peru my sophomore year for January term. And it truly was, those are experiences that really shaped me into who I am. And yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Liz. And that's an awesome way to put it. Everything that's going on campus that you have access to, especially also with your story, having heard about DePauw for a while, it's both a good and bad thing where suddenly you have all of this knowledge of DePauw and it's like, okay, that's where my family went. Is that something I really want to do? But you found out it still is just as cool as the reviews were. And to kind of go off of the theme you talked about at the end of your answer, Liz, if each of you could kind of talk about maybe that favorite class you've had so far, something that you were surprised by once you got here that you just stumbled upon. So it could be both like that academic side of a favorite course so far, or maybe a club or an organization that's really been impactful so far during your time at DePauw.
For me, I'm gonna talk more like I like the academic side. So for me, coming from New York City, the Big Apple, a huge city, you're not really drawing attention to yourself. There's so much things going on. But when I came to DePauw, something that really grabs my attention is how the intimacy between a student and professor. So my class, I had a first semester was Africana Studies with Professor Peterson, and she treated me like I was family. Basically, it was like 10 of us in her class. She put her phone number in the syllabus, and like if I didn't respond to emails, text me via phone. Texted her, and ever since then we've been super cool. Also, I'm of course a major global health. My professor currently is Professor Upton, and just that sense of like making sure that she's always checking on me, everything is cool, family based. Currently, she's on leave, so she's teaching in another school. However, like last week, we catched up on Zoom, which is so funny. Like, she's like, I just came from a jog, but I just really wanted to see how you're doing. Scratch all the school stuff, but like, how are your family doing? I know you lived in New York City. How is that going? But aside from academics, professors really look out for you in a family and a home aspect. So that's something that really stood out to me when it came to DePauw. Something that really kind of not surprised me in a way, but something that really caught me off guard coming from New York City. So,
Yeah, and it's going to be those relationships with professors that, stand out. It's almost hard to pick exactly one course that is your favorite because there's just so many, at least in my mind, that I resort to where I've been able to truly get to know the professor. I'm learning amazing material that I never even knew, all this new information, but I'm doing it alongside, my peers and a professor that truly cares about the topic that they're teaching about and truly cares about the students that they're with. So that's a great answer, and I definitely second all of that. Liz, how about you?
Yes, so I do want to bounce off of the whole idea of the relationships between students and professors and just how unique that is, I think, for DePauw, in that because our class sizes are smaller, you really, really do get to know your professors, and they truly, truly do care about you, not only as a student, but as a person. And I'll give an example of, there was one time that I had to get down to St. Louis to see family for a weekend, and I don't have a car on campus, and none of my friends had cars available. And my professor actually let me borrow his car because he knew how much of an emergency it was, and he knew how much I needed to get down to see my family. And so I think that just gives an example of how much professors truly, truly have your back as like a person overall, alongside with checking in on you as a student constantly and really wanting you to like succeed in their class. And I think one of my favorite courses that I've taken at DePauw is actually a course that I'm currently in. It's an intro to poli-sci course, and like I mentioned, I'm a communications major, but because of the liberal arts education, we can take courses in all different subjects. So this course is taught by Professor Strickner, and it's an intro course, but I'm really just learning about the basics of poli-sci, but I hadn't known that all before, and it's really interesting to see this and learn about this alongside the election. And my professor does a great job of tying in like real world examples and real world scenarios to what we're learning in class. And it's very, very interesting.
A Steinbrecher class is probably the best class to be taking right now. Personal bias as a political science professor, so that's awesome. I'm kind of going to go ahead. Julia, do you want to jump in? Sorry.
I was just going to say, it seems to go a long way, the DePauw education. If you're saying one of your favorite courses is one, that's remote and during a time of COVID, I think that really speaks volumes to how much professors care about the quality of education that all of our students are receiving, that they're putting in so much work and effort to make sure that academics and the quality, again, do not slip, even if we all can't be together in person. So I, as someone who, just graduated, I'd love to hear that. But Ben, I'll let you continue.
Awesome. I kind of want to go off of the direction that you both talked about briefly in your answers. So we're going to go off script a little bit, but I promise it'll be okay. We're good. So I think one thing that I talked about a lot or thought about in my DePauw experience was that class is a big part of college, and you both alluded to classes, but you also talked about relationships. So I think the DePauw professors do a great job, and you talked a little bit in your answers about how they're there to help you and support you, but they're also there to make sure you don't fall through the cracks and keep you accountable. And maybe you've already had an instance where a professor has shared an opportunity with you and encouraged you to try something, or maybe it's just going to office hours and walking away with a whole new topic to research for a paper, or maybe to go back for the next class discussion. Have you had any instance like that where a professor maybe has gone above and beyond, or you have really gone into a session and walk away with an idea that I didn't think this conversation was going to go this way, but here's what I learned?
Uh, Definitely for me, that was definitely happened for me when I took psychology, intro to psych, my first semester of college. Not really a big psych guy. That's a good thing about college and good thing about DePauw is that once you take courses, you do find some courses that you're not very like into. Not a very psych guy, but there are my professor actually went above and beyond to like see I was a little bit struggling in that class, but I scheduled a one-on-one meeting with her, and she like gave me some like an article to read about psychology and like how to like you know switch your perspective into it, and I really like I left that like meeting and went home to read it, and it really just brought me to a whole new perspective, like how to indulge psychology, indulge the readings and the history behind it and stuff. So like professors do their best to go above and beyond to make sure the students actually understand their topics. And if like sometimes they don't realize it, you do have the opportunity to contact them, you know, via email, via phone number, or just go to the daily office hours, and they're more than likely to help you do there too.
So something for me, and I think I've recently realized this, and in the past I've really taken it for granted, but at the beginning of each semester, the professor will post their office hours, and they'll say, you know, if you have any questions, like come to my office hours and we can talk about it. But the more I think about it, I actually think whenever I have an interaction with a professor outside of class, it's usually not even in their time frame of office hours. And what I mean by that is, you know, if I can't make the office hours, they will 100% accommodate to like my schedule in helping me, which I think is really, really cool. For example, you know, if I want to meet with a professor, I'll usually email them and say, hi, professor, are you available to meet at, you know, time X, Y, and Z? And they'll immediately jump on one of those times, even if it's not in their office hours. So that just is really reassuring to a student, knowing that one, their professor will look at your email and respond to your email very timely to get back to you, and also that they will always work to accommodate to your schedule. And I think that, again, really relates to just the idea of like DePauw being, you know, smaller class sizes so you can truly, truly get like your personalized experience. And so that is something that I think I've really taken for granted, but now I'm realizing, wow, like professors are always, always at my service, which is so, so great.
Awesome. And I know right now for those joining us today with the college search, it's not how we envisioned the college search to go for sure amid pandemic, but here we are, we're rolling through it. With having like a sophomore perspective and then a senior perspective, I want to ask our friends today where they are kind of with their career journey. They've shared a little bit, and maybe you decided, you came in undecided, maybe you had an idea. Walk us through where you were kind of from day one and what's helped you maybe affirm that kind of future calling and where you are in your journeys right now.
So in terms of my like process of like choosing DePauw, right? So the question you're asking.
A little bit, but also you mentioned that you're ready to go and thinking epidemiology later on, like
Okay.
how you came to that idea, because I feel, my question was really for, I feel like right now, if you're a junior or a senior, you're getting two questions thrown at you in high school. It's where are you going to go to school, and then what are you going to do with your life? And that's so hard. And I want to show our friends today that you can change, but also you have time to figure it out when you get here. So sorry if that helps a little bit.
No, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, 100%. You have time to figure out. There's like no pressure, of course, especially in terms of like doing what you got to do after school. But in terms of like, there's no pressure thrown at you. You know, you have a wide variety of options. You actually choose your major second semester of your sophomore year, so you have about a year and a half to like choose what you want to study. And of course, you could, you know, let's say if I choose to do like right now, I'm doing public health, but I could have the option to change my major whenever I would like to. There's actually no type of like limit, you know, so I could change it whenever. The process of the reason why I chose this because of my intro to global health class was so like embarking to me in such an amazing experience. Along with the pandemic we're going through right now, I thought it would be best to study epidemiology and a study of like controlling diseases and especially in, like communities who don't have access to specific healthcare. You know, I thought it would be best, especially to embark on that journey now. But like in terms of that, like there's no pressure DePauw puts on you. You know, you really have you have the powers within you. You have the power to do what you like to do. So hopefully that answers the question in terms of your question.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to go off of what you were just saying about like the power that you have. I think the overall liberal arts education really allows students and us personally to explore different areas of study and just interests. Like I said, I'm a communications major, but I'm right now in a political science class and loving it. So who knows, maybe now I'm gonna lean towards doing something like that in the future. But just as the liberal arts education really encourages students to explore different things, I think that as a senior is now, it correlates to my mindset of what I'm going to do when I graduate. And what I mean by that is I think there is often a lot of pressure then like to answer those questions like, oh, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to study? What are you going to do when you graduate? And what's really, really cool that I've like come to learn is there's never like an end point. There's never a one answer that I need to have as like what I'm going to do with my whole entire life. And I think I've really learned that at DePauw is, at DePauw and even after graduation, like we are encouraged to explore, and you can really just find so many different avenues like by exploring. And so my time at DePauw, from the different courses I've taken, I've gone from thinking that I wanted to maybe do something in media to now as a senior realizing that by talking to different alums and interacting with my professors and getting their advice and their advising, maybe now I want to work in like the nonprofit realm of the like outdoor sports community. And so those are two very different things, but because I have had such a diverse like experience at DePauw, I've really been able to explore these different like niches and take a step closer to what it is I want to do right when I graduate. But again, I think the path is just always changing, and the DePauw community is always there to like back you up and support you.
Awesome. No, great answers. Thank you both so much. And that's kind of a good thing that I hope we echo to you all joining the call today, that hang in there, take it one day at a time, but you can also get here and still have that support network to figure out classes. You might make a pivot and figure out, you know what, I came in with this idea, but you know what, by taking this class on a whim, I really enjoyed this. And it doesn't have to be an end or like a finite goal of this is my path, this is what I'm doing. You can do some dancing and weaving through this whole journey here. So we talked a little bit about why you both chose DePauw, but I also think it's important to talk about what keeps you here. What are you still involved in that's kept you here? Where are your friends, your support group? Talk about your journey as DePauw students and what excites you to be back on campus or still be part of the DePauw community.
Something that really excites me about DePauw community is that I use this analogy whenever like I do my tours and stuff, but like in terms of like DePauw feels like a place where I could light up a candle in my room and just snuggle in my bed. That's what I think about DePauw. It's very homey type of vibe surrounding it, and that's why I really came back to DePauw because, going back home from the Bronx is not a really stable community, so I always like to come back here, and just here is a really nice community. Tons of my friends are here. You actually like, it's true what they say about college. You end up meeting your best friends here, and they're all here, which is amazing. Another thing that really keeps me in DePauw is also the activities I'm a part of. So I'm a part of student government as well, and then it's always great to be on campus to make sure the students have a voice for the decisions made within campus. But definitely the main reason why I came back is because it's such a home to me, and it really resonated with me. So yeah.
Yes. So for me, I'm missing so many things at DePauw, but it's really cool to see how they've like translated, and still like it feels so close to me even though I'm away. But I think something that is really important in my experience is how easy it is, and it has been, to get really involved in clubs and activities. For example, my first year as a student at DePauw, I joined DePauw's television station as just like a marketing volunteer. And second semester, my freshman year, I ended up being the manager of the marketing team. And I think that's just one example of the way that, like, how easy it is to really, really get involved into something that you're really, truly interested in at DePauw. And so I'm not involved in the TV station anymore, but it's led to so many other involvement and kind of like really random things that I've been involved with, but that have totally shaped me into the person I am. And another example, and this is something that I really, really miss right now, is so I don't play any sports at DePauw, but I work within the athletic department. And I work at the men and women's soccer games as a ball girl on the sideline, which is super cool because I've met a lot of amazing friends through that experience, like fellow ball shagger people, but then also students on the sports teams too. I get to stand next to them on the sideline, and we'll chat a little bit about the game, and then like we'll see each other in passing on our way to class, and we'll just like give each other a little wave because, you know, we had that little sideline experience together. So that just those little experiences really end up making the whole like DePauw college experience, which I think is really cool.
I love that. Thank you both. So we're kind of getting close to the final few minutes of our time. And if you have any lingering questions and you're on the call today, please feel free to use that chat feature. If you drop it in there, I can ask our friends here. But can you all offer some advice for, it could be anything, life advice, college search advice, whatever direction you're feeling, words of wisdom for our special guests today?
For me, one of the biggest things that like I was struggling with at first, but now I'm starting to realize that at the end of the day, you're getting a lot of information from us, but it's truly up to you. It's your decision. So don't let, like, of course, you know, the DePauw's a great school, like, you know, don't get it twisted, but just at the end of the day, it is your choice and is what you really want deep down. So at the end of the day, it's great to listen to your parents and to us, but it's also great to reconcile with yourself and see what's best for you. That's one big advice for me.
So my advice, and it's similar to something that I've said before, but my advice is that, like, truly there never is an end to like your experience in anything, and college is just another amazing stepping stone toward another new adventure that you're going to have in life. And so I think just really focus on what you can get out of your college experience, what activities interest you, and go for it. Even if you have never tried it before, have never participated in it before, don't know anyone who's doing it, just go for it, because you will meet amazing people. You will learn something, you know, whether it's something that you want to do or something that you've learned you don't want to do, you will always learn something. And yeah, just have that mindset of like, yes, 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 do it, because it will springboard you into something really cool that will get you closer to the next phase of your life, or what you want to do, or who you want to meet, or where you want to live.
Very cool.
I think that is great advice. Just embracing all of this right now, you know, really, if wherever you're at in your college search process, just embracing it and going for it and prioritizing not only yourself, but where you see the best fit for you. That is what all of us wish for you, whether that is at DePauw, at another institution. We just want where you are going to be the most comfortable, where you can see yourself being successful and hopefully having such amazing college experiences like our two panelists today.
Yeah, I think the college search gets this bad rap sometimes of that colleges are the gatekeepers, or it's this very competitive process. For some places it can be, but I think for our school and for our journey, we want this to be the best opportunity for you. So it does go both ways. You know, this is also during your college search a chance for you to be selfish, and it can be hard because you're trying to put your best foot forward and look good for these schools. But where is that place that's going to encourage you to be your most true and authentic self, but also get the best out of you? And I think that's a great way to look at it. And both of our panelists today have kind of talked about, you know, don't sweat it all the time, but also listen to the family and friends that you have and use your support circle to weigh out those options and make the right decision. We, of course, would love to see you here as part of the Tiger family, but you got a lot of options. and we're glad you're spending some time with us. In our final few minutes, I would like our friends to say their 3 words they would use to describe DePauw. I know this is probably the hardest question of the day. And you can take a moment too if you need to collect your thoughts.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it. So we've got community, encouragement, and engagement.
Awesome. Do you want to unpack that at all a little bit?
Yes, community again has been something that I've mentioned and is so big for me, but DePauw really, the campus really, it truly is a community, which is so special as someone who's, during your college years, you're trying to figure out who you are, what you want to do. You just know that you always have this community to support you and to back you up in whatever you choose to do. So it's really, yeah, it's great.
I would say home, global, and community as well. To unpack that, literally what I would say home, because again, I left from such a huge city to come to Indiana. It really makes me feel home and doesn't, I've always was a step in my comfort zone, but here really made me step in my comfort zone, of course, but in a good way. Made me feel like it's another home for me. So that's home. Global, because study abroad is just my thing. I want to go over the world, and there's tons of opportunities for that. And community, just to back off of what she said, communities, tons of opportunities where you can make friends and different experiences as well.
Thank you both so much. Liz, you had a great answer. I'm sorry, your sound came over like super loud for a quick moment, but we got all of it. Nice job.
Okay, good.
Well, that was really our hope to give a few ideas of what you have to look forward to at DePauw. We still have like 3-4 minutes, so if you have questions, drop it in here. Any parting words, final thoughts, Julia, Liz, Mikhail?
I just want to say thank you all to attending, to our panelists. You guys gave fantastic answers. Of course, if you ever have any further questions, not only Ben Hatchett at DePauw University, but Julia Michaels at DePauw University, we're both here to answer any and all questions. We would be more than happy to also put you in touch with current students if you want to ask further about their experiences here at DePauw. Again, in the last few minutes, if there's any lingering questions for the chat, we would love to answer those quickly for you as well. But you guys have been fantastic today. We appreciate you all attending.
As you think about any final questions, I would like to share what you can do next. So now that you've heard a little bit about what DePauw is all about, we are open. We have visits happening Monday through Saturday, limited occupancy, so it is important to register in advance. Due to our COVID-19 return plans and policies, we do ask that you and your guests maintain social distancing and wear a mask at all times while you're on campus. Each student is welcome to bring 2 additional guests with them, and you're going to be either in a morning session or an afternoon session. So we can easily do on-person visits, and we're open again Monday through Saturday. If you're not ready to venture out just yet, I totally get it. We are available all the time. We pretty much live in Zoom. I'm sure you do as well. We also have visits happening every Wednesday. So you can join us Wednesdays at 4 o'clock Eastern time for a live information session. You might see Julia and I there, followed by a live virtual tour at 5 p.m. Eastern time. You can do that again every Wednesday. We're always trying to be creative and think about new different ways. So we've got bingo night happening tomorrow and other different virtual game nights and things happening where you can drop by, have a little bit of fun, a break in your day, but also learn a little bit more about DePauw along the way. And if you visit or check out any of our virtual visits, you might see all of our faces during one of your visit one way or another. So we can't wait to see you at any point in this college search, but work on those applications and let us know how we can help.
All right, great job, DePauw. For those of you joining us after this, again, the recording will be available to you at inacac.org/virtual college exploration. And we do encourage you to explore other sessions on colleges at the same web address. There's also a quick 4-question survey that will appear after this. So please take the time to fill that out and let our panelists know how they've done. So thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck in your college search. Thanks, DePauw.
Thanks, everyone.